Hello everyone and welcome to the Outlaw 100 overview video. I'm going to do my best Isaac Barnowski impersonation because he does really good overview videos before the races. So I'm going to go over information like the course, directions on how to get there, a slight change at the very beginning of the course and aid stations, and lots of other information. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to share my screen so you guys can follow along with me. Okay, so we are at the Outlaw 100 website, outlaw100.com, and let's go ahead and go to the main page. We're going to click on Fairfield here. All of our races are listed here. So if you click on the image of that race, it'll bring up all the information. And we have the Outlaw 100 website page. Lots of information on here. A lot of times whenever we send out a pre-race email, it is a copy and paste of what's on the website with some small additional information. So a lot of times, if you're waiting for that pre-race email, all the information you need is already available on the website. The first thing I want to go over is how to get to Twin Mountain Off-Road Park. And on the website, there is a link to the starting line location. So if we click on that, it'll open up maps. And this field right here, we can follow my mouse. This field is the start of the race, and Twin Mountain Off-Road entrance is right down the road, not very far from the starting line. So let's go ahead and do some directions from Oklahoma City. And we're not going to go over the whole thing, but I would like to zoom in and show you guys once you get through Eufaula, you're going to go through Quinton. When you get to Quinton, Oklahoma, you have a football field here. You turn down the road by the football field, and it's going to take you up a hill, old country road, and you're going to come by True Grit RV Park. You're going to go by this RV park, but I do want you guys to know that there are hookup sites available if you have an RV, and they also may have some spots available for you to rent out, so reach out to them if you need a place to stay. And Happy Hawk is going to be there at the completion of the race, or at the completion of your race, so you can get a massage on your way out from the Outlaw 100 race. Getting back on track here, this Adams Street is what you're going to want to follow all the way down. Google Maps is a little crazy here, and they want you to pull in this lady's driveway less than a quarter of a mile from the entrance. There are signs here saying Twin Mountains Off-Road Park, stay to the left. There are signs directing you to stay to the left. Google Maps is a little crazy right here, so keep following Adams Street until you get to the entrance. Now, this is going to bottleneck. This can go smoothly if you have cash. It's $10 cash for parking, so please make sure you have cash. There's going to be a person here. There might have two people working this to help the flow of cars go through. So many people might come here and say, hey, do you guys take card or Venmo? They do not. They take cash. Please have cash ready to help the flow of traffic into the park. Once you come into the park and you get through the pay gate, you will come around to this field. In this field is where you're going to have the parking, the start line, and you're going to have the race course branch off from this area. One thing I want to show you guys is what it looks like when we first went out there. This is the Twin Mountain off-road map, and there's actually more trails than what you see here. And they're going to close off the trails to the runners. So there's going to be no off-road vehicles on the course this weekend. And what I wanted to do was connect these trails to have minimum overlap. So we have the red is going to be the 9-mile loop, and the green is going to be the 4-mile loop. Put those two together, you have 13 miles, which is great for a half marathon, 50-mile, and 100-mile distance. Let's go back over to Outlaw 100. All finishers get buckles. That's what I love about this race. So many people say buckles should only be for 100K or 100 milers, but this is a tough 5K course. And to give someone, even though it's a little baby buckle, to give a 5K runner a buckle after doing something so difficult, and marathoners, this is probably one of the toughest marathons in Oklahoma. I would say it's the hardest 100-miler in Oklahoma. This is such a difficult race that everyone's going to have to really push themselves to get to the finish line, no matter what distance they're doing. So I love that every distance gets a buckle, and the larger distance you do, the bigger buckle you get. Doing the trail series this year, but I need to scout out one more course to replace Thunderbird, so more information on that. I apologize for the delay. Of course, I've been pretty busy with all the other races, but definitely more information coming on that. I'm excited to scout out some new courses on Sunday. And pacers, so look at the specific distance you're running and know when a pacer can jump in. A pacer can jump in with you at the start-finish line and do the 9-mile loop, or they can just do the 4-mile loop, or they can do as many loops as they want as long as they jump in at the right time. There is one pacer bib per runner, so whenever a runner goes out with a pacer to do the 9-mile loop and they have another one for the 4-mile loop, they just hand the bib over to the other pacer, and that pacer will go out and do the 4 mile loop with the runner. Only one pacer per runner, but you can have as many pacers as you want. They would just have to take turns pacing you through the course. From the top of my mind, I'm not sure about camping. I'll get with Alicia and get you guys updated. If you want to camp overnight, you can camp in the field and do some car camping. Of course, don't set up your tent on the actual race course, but we will know the fee for that before race day, because you have the parking fee, then it's going to probably be 10 or 20 extra if you want to camp at the course. The course has porta potties out there. Make sure, some people ask road shoes or trail shoes. I would say trail shoes. This is a very technical, fun trail with some runnable sections, and it's like these runnable sections connect you to the next rocky, crazy section, and then you're just on to the next runnable section to the next rocky, crazy section. It's a lot of that over and over. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you have everything you need to safely navigate the trails. I know Isaac is big on trekking poles, and I am also now pretty big on trekking poles. I'll be taking trekking poles around out there to help me climb over all of the rocks. Be sure to thank your volunteers at the aid stations and at the start finish line. They are driving all the way out to Quinton, Oklahoma, just to help you succeed in whatever race distance you're doing. If you finish your race and have some energy and some time left over, please consider volunteering. Even if you don't sign up to volunteer, you can easily go to the start finish line and say, hey, I can help out for a few hours. Where do you need me? That is very appreciated. And so we are grateful for any help we get, even if we don't know about it beforehand. We do not turn down volunteers. So if you can help and you're able to do so, we would love it. And now what I want to do is dive into the actual course. So we're going to go to the Strava map, 13-mile loop. Bringing up the Strava map, I'm going to go to satellite, and we can dive in here. I wish there was a way to make this a little bigger for us to see, but I can zoom in. Here's our starting field. You see there's trees here, but it's actually a field. One change that we are going to make, if you have a GPX file, it's going to yell at you a little bit. If you know how to change up a GPX file, please reach out to me so I can change this for all the runners that have the GPX file. If you don't have a GPX file, then you're completely fine. Just follow the signs. Previously, we would start the race here, go over the waterfalls, and do a very steep climb. But this steep climb is not dog friendly, and we love our four-legged friends at Outlaw. So what we're going to do, instead of going this way to start the 9-mile loop, we're actually going to come down here, cross over the water, and follow this trail to connect. This is not going to add a ton of distance. It's not going to wreck anybody's race. It's just a little reroute to make sure our four-legged friends can enjoy the trail with us. And that climb was a little steep, so I'm very happy that everything went smoothly last year, but it will not be in the race this year. And we're talking about that steep climb at Snake Farm. So with that out, so that is one small change we are for sure making. I will also point out you're going to come through here, and at 0.57, so half a mile in, you're going to come to this, it almost looks like an intersection. Really, the trail just comes out. You're going to want to go straight to this very smooth, buttery, runnable road. There's going to be signs here, but you can only put so many signs in this big area, and you can only have so many markings when there's not a lot of trees. You're going to keep going straight until you get to the road. We did have a runner last year that got confused here and went off in this direction to connect to the trail. They admitted that they took the wrong turn, and we got him taken care of. So once we come here, we run this nice, smooth, buttery road. You're going to go by this house, and you are going to turn right to get back onto the trails. When you make this turn here, you are going to see runners going up this power line climb, but it is very important that you follow the signs and go over to your right to continue down the trail until you make it to the power line climb. I know a lot of times there's turns in a race, but you see runners ahead of you and you kind of second guess that turn. But with this, you saw the trails. The trails are very close together. So just trust the signs, trust the roped off areas, and just know if you see someone on a trail ahead of you, you're likely going to be on that trail. It just might take a little longer to get there. And we're going to come on around. Once you come all the way through, around, and down, we are finding ourselves pretty close to the start finish line. And this is 3.2 miles into the race. So if you're a 5K runner, you have a split right here. The 5K is going to come across this river and connect onto the trail here and swoop all the way around to finish the 5K. There's going to be signs saying 5K go straight, 9-mile loop go left. So if you're a 9-mile loop runner or a 13-mile loop runner, you can hang with me here as we come around, come through all the way around. I don't need to trace this whole thing. What I do want to show is that we are going to come up this section here called Anaconda. Anaconda is this like uphill boulder field of awesomeness. You guys are going to love it and hate it, but also love it. And what I want to point out is when you get to the top of Anaconda, you're going to hear Stacy and Sarah and Lindsay partying it up at this aid station. If there's anyone that has an injury on Anaconda or someone needs serious medical attention, when you get to the top of Anaconda, you can connect right here to get to the aid station if it's an emergency. Otherwise, this is kind of just a tease because you still have to go down to the corner of the property and then work your way back to the aid station. So once you get to the top of Anaconda, you have a half mile before you get to the aid station. This aid station is going to be the party aid station. The girls are going to be there. We're going to have fun lights and all the food. People always ask what food we have at these races, and it's tough to say because we usually get the food a day or two before the race. So if you're asking if so keep that in mind if you're emailing a race director 6 months before a race saying, hey, what kind of food are you going to have? They can give you a general idea, but they're not going to know the exact menu. But for us, what we typically do is we typically have like some kind of soup like ramen, bacon, and you got the salty and the sweets. You're going to have the Oreos, the cookies, and then the salty things like pickle juice and chips and pretzels. So don't quote me on any of that because the shopping hasn't been done yet, but that is what you can expect. So knowing that, if you have anything you really want, you specifically want, put it in your drop bag and have us take the drop bag up to that aid station. If an aid station worker does an 8-hour shift, they will take the return drop bags back to the start finish line and then they will be given to the runners there. So just know that if you finish your race and you want your drop bag immediately, it's not likely that a volunteer can drop everything they're doing just to go get their drop bag for you. You might have to wait a little bit. So hang out, cheer on the runners, and your drop bag will be coming your way shortly. Now, the next thing I want to show you is kind of the road going to the aid station and why we can't have crew driving up and down this road. The road going to the aid station is somewhat drivable, especially if you have a truck. It comes through here, comes around, and comes down all the way to the start finish. So we will be driving up and down this road to take things to the aid station, to bring runners back if they drop, to bring drop bags to and from the aid station. But I can't have any crew coming down this road because right here it's on the course. Right here, it's on another part of the course, and there's a section here where it isn't, and then it is back on the course. This road has so much of the course intertwined with it. I don't want any family or crew driving down it just for the safety of our runner. So if there's an absolute emergency, we can get you up to the aid station to pick up a runner. But other than that, we're going to have everyone hang out down at the start finish line. Coming back out, we will finish up this 9-mile loop as it swings all around, down, and to the finish line. And according to this GPX file, we're 8.95 miles in. Whenever you start the 4-mile loop, you're going to be coming down and your split on here, the split is here. But remember, we're making the slight change this year. So the split is going to be a little further down. The 9-mile is going to cross over the river here, and the 4-mile is going to keep going. This little section here should be the only section where there's cross traffic kind of back and forth. So if you're running down any other part of trail and you see someone coming your way, one of you are going the wrong way. Don't always assume it's you. Don't always assume it's you, but typically one of you are going to be going the wrong way if you see cross traffic. But right here, there's some cross traffic because the 4-mile is coming out, coming to the very top of coming to the front of the property where the pay booth is, and then they are running down to get onto the trail. I needed to squeeze as much of the outside of this property into the race as possible to make sure we get the distances right. Otherwise, I would just say just cut over the trail and jump on it, but we need to go all the way up to the pay booth. There will be signs guiding you that way. Zooming out, you can see this just follows the property line. This is a property line road, which on this map looks nice and runnable, but it's very hilly, up and down, lots of rocks, and there is a creek, like creek river crossing, and so it can either be up to your knees or you can jump across rocks to get across it. We won't know until the day before if you're going to get your feet wet, but just plan to get your feet wet, have a little fun out there, and just bring some extra socks. You'll be fine. Following this 4-mile loop, we're going to follow the edge of the property again, come all the way down, and we're going to keep working our way through. We're jumping on that road that goes to the aid station, and we'll zoom into this spot right here. This spot right here is where you can see the start finish. You can probably smell the food truck. Everything is happening at this spot, but this is not where you go to the start finish line. There's going to be signs telling you to turn left and go uphill in this mountain, come down to the mountain, and then you can come back across to get to the finish line. Every time you finish a 9-mile loop, you cross over the finish line map. Every time you finish the 4-mile loop, you cross over the finish line map. You go through that start finish every single time. You can't just jump over to the 4-mile loop. You got to come through the start finish, say hello at the start finish aid station, and then continue on your way. All right, so that is it for the Strava segment. There's many videos out there. If you go to YouTube and type in Outlaw 100 Twin Mountains, make sure you put in Twin Mountains so you don't get the Robbers Cave videos. There is an overview video of what I just showed you with what it looks like next to it. There is the story of last year's race. There's a 20-minute overview video where I'm going over the individual sections. Again, remember to ignore the very beginning where the waterfall crossing and the snake farm climb. We are bypassing that this year, but there's so many visual tools out there if you really want to see what you're getting yourself into. If you just check out YouTube, Outlaw 100 Twin Mountains. So at this year's race, we are going to have rucking. Whenever I announced we're going to have rucking at Outlaw 100 races, many people reached out to me and said, is this going to be an official Go Ruck event? And I had no idea what that meant. But I knew it was important to people because a lot of people asked. So I reached out to Go Ruck, and all of the Outlaw 100 events are going to be Go Ruck events if there is a rucking division available. So if you know someone who is really into rucking and you want them to come out and share the trail with you, send them the link to the website outlaw100.com. And I am curious what the ruckers are going to think of Twin Mountains because that is a crazy tough course. And I'm not sure what they're used to rucking. So I'm curious to see if they say that was absolutely crazy. Either way, they're going to have fun. But I want to know how that course compares to the other Go Ruck events out there. Nene's Triple C food truck is going to be at the start finish line. They have amazing food. I know their Philly cheesesteaks were magical. I kept getting the same Philly cheesesteak, and then she said to try one with like that canned cheese on it. Also magical. And the iced coffee was a game changer for me last year as I was working this race, trying to stay awake through the night to get the runners to the start finish line. So I know that's going to be enjoyed by all the runners and crew coming out to the race. You're going to have the food at the aid station. There's going to be food at the start finish line. Last year it was pulled pork and baked potatoes. So I'm not sure what Jeff and Alicia have planned for this year's race, but it's always going to be, it's an outlaw race. It'll be some good food. And then we talked also about Happy Hawk being at True Grit RV Park doing post-race massages. So on your way out, feel free to stop by and get a massage. True Grit RV Park also has showers available. So I don't know. I apologize. I don't have the exact price, but it might be like $5 or $10. There might be a donation box. Pretty much you just give them a little bit of money and take a shower. And from what I hear, that is definitely worth it, especially if you have that 2.5 hour drive home and you want to get cleaned up. That is a great place to do that. So we appreciate True Grit RV for making that available to all the runners at the Outlaw 100 race. I want to jump in and share one more thing before we get out of here. Even if you're not running the race, it is still important to know how to navigate Ultra Sign Up if you want to switch your distance. I'm having to drop from the 135 miler to the 100 miler, so I'm going to show you guys how I did that. There's no one to pick up the course markings after the race, and that's my job. So I'm going to do the 100 miler, pick up the course markings on my last loop. That way I can still get 100 miles in and take care of that. So I'm going to go to Account Info Registration History. I'm going to click on that, and I see Outlaw 100. I'm going to come over to Edit. And here you can choose if you need to change your distance. So let's say you signed up for the half marathon on Saturday and forgot it was Valentine's Day and you're in big trouble. You can come here and switch it to the 13.1 on Sunday and make everybody happy. So this is how you do that. You come through here, shirt deadline. I just put my name. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to put there, but I just wrote my name in and I clicked update registration in. And that is how I dropped from the 135 down to the 100 miler. And don't feel too bad for me. The 100 miler will still be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And if you guys have any more questions, please let me know. I rambled on for quite a bit. I covered quite a bit, but I didn't cover everything because there still might be something on your brain that you need to know. I'm going to be out marking the course next Thursday with very limited cell phone reception. So if you need anything, please reach out to me as soon as possible. Put the comments in the comment section below, and I can't wait to see everyone out there on February 14th for the Outlaw 100.